I wanted to get into too, like a little bit of that, like difficult and maybe even like negative side of having to deal with me in terms of like taking the risk of putting me on a show and dealing with complaints about me.
Sure.
In those that.
Well, ironically, Mike Van Vliet used to be that guy.
Yeah.
Or and he wasn't. And neither are you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people that know you off stage, you are creative and you do have some edgier shit to say once in a while. Mm-hmm. And so did he, and so did Chris Hargy, you know? Yes. So there's always been somebody that, you know, had a little bit more of an edgier type of humor. But it's hard to... I don't think there's a really the answer I'm going to give you is very windy and you know, no, I'm just saying it's just I can't go like, oh, this is you. I mean, it's more of a like, okay, it's like you wouldn't go, oh, you're creative. Of course, be as creative as you want to, but not during a. But be as creative as you want to, but not. You know, it's a. I heard something the other day. Actually, my wife says I'm addicted to Instagram now. Which I'm not. No, she says I scroll all the time. Whatever, lady. It's you know, if that's our fights now, so be it. But I was watching Dr. Dre being interviewed, and they were talking about, you know, when he was recording Eminem, and he's like, you know, he said that Eminem never told him what he was going to say before he heard it. Yeah. You know, so he would hit record and you know, and he would say just the fucking most off the wall, nastiest rhyme, you know, and the guy's like, did you ever shut him down? We're like, hey, we can't do that. And he's like, no, man, you got to let the artist go. And this was after you and I talked, you know, and I was trying to explain to you Saturday night, New Year's Eve. And I was like, that's fucking perfect. That's what I'm going to tell Cameron. Like, the next time he asks me about, you know, his performance, fucking, it's not up to me. You know, let the artist go. I think over the years, what's occurred is as the comedy club becomes more of a business, then it's looked at under a business microscope. Sometimes
there's this scale of like, it used to be no problem. Of course, we're going to let the artist just go. Right. But then it starts to become this valuing and necessity of keeping the business alive and running it like a business. Sometimes letting the artist go
and the
conflicts
balance,
with that.
Right, and the balance.
Yes, I understand that.
The balance is so fragile.
Yes.
You know, because everybody at the club loves you. Absolutely fucking. If anybody's in the back laughing and stuff, it's usually the comics at the comics or the staff at the comics. You know, if that even when the audience has gone sideways or got up and walked the fuck out, sometimes we're laughing at you. Sometimes we're laughing with you, but more than not, we're laughing with you. Like, holy shit, that's so wrong to hear, but that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of it's a fragile balance in that you want people to be able to go up there and just be themselves, regardless of, you know, regardless of the mood they're in. Sometimes you're in a good mood and you're going to say some fun. It's going to come out very fun. Sometimes if you're in a shitty mood or a low mood or a depressed mood, it's going to come out completely different. You know, sometimes if you're fucking hammered on whatever your drug of choice is, it's going to come out, you know, very loose-lipped.
Yes.
You know, the filter's missing sometimes. So it's not just you, it's everybody that gets on stage. Yeah. And from a business point of view, I think the fragility is you want the audience members to have a good time and come back and not be disturbed or put off in any way, whatever that is. Maybe that's just inside their head they're put off, or they vocalize it back to the stage, or they get up and walk the fuck out.
Yeah.
you know, that's, you don't want that. But as a comic or a club owner, you also understand that you can't please everybody, and people are going to walk out regardless, even if it's somebody on stage that's clean, and they say something that the person, maybe they make a Trump joke or a Biden joke, and I'm not sticking around for this bullshit, and they get up and walk out. So it doesn't just come from people who say or have like edgy comedy, but it I think from a business point of view, I think it's really hard to juggle that. And if you're headlining, you can get away with pretty much anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not going to, a comedy club very rarely has a issue with a headliner, what they say, because that's what the people bought a ticket for. And I can't speak for all comedy clubs, but a lot of comics that I've heard have been banned from comedy clubs or whatever were opening for somebody else.
Yeah.
And it seems like the tolerance for how creative somebody could be is based on how tolerant the audience is with that person, which kind of seems unfair. You want the comic to be a comic.
It's super variable.
Yeah, you
and
want the artist to be an artist, but...
And like some people really claim, like some comics will really claim they have this incredible ability to read a crowd before they start doing anything, and feeling out through maybe testing jokes where it's going to go. But I mean, my experience, and this might be because the way I work, and I'm constantly like throwing out material and trying new stuff, and
which is great. That's way more preferred.
Yes, and also that there's a wide range.
Same shit for 20 years.
Yes, and also there's a wide range, like this, element of one. It's a feature of why I'm maybe not so great of a risk for a business standpoint. Is my performance, what it's going to be, is rather unpredictable. You don't necessarily know what version of Cameron you're going to get that night. I hear that a lot. Yeah. So,
and I'll just say this on that point. I'm the same way at the Comedy Cabana. I was considered a loose cannon. Yeah. And I cannot get booked at the Comedy Cabana to save my fucking life. And then the one time I did go back was during a comedy competition. And they used to, they still do. Their lighting is they have a candle at the DJ booth, and they wave the candle back and forth. So I was banned for a year, and for something I said on stage. I went back for the comedy competition, of which I won. But when I was on stage, I in my head I was like, you know what? Audience doesn't know I was banned. I should probably tell them. And so I proceeded to tell them that I was banned for a year and why I was banned, because I said the word semen.
What?
Yeah, dude. And I ended up winning the competition. But as soon as I said I'm banned, I was maybe 3 minutes into my set.
Right.
I see the fucking candle, the owner back there with the candle just waving and waving and waving. I was like, oh, fuck, I'm never going to come back to this place again. Yeah. And I can't, I don't think they let me fucking host. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, it's just, going back to you, it's like, I've done the same thing, where I've and I love those guys, Jeff and Christine. Fucking, they're great. They like me. That she comes up to the club every once in a while. Or actually she did when it was Nut Street, but yeah, it's just weird, dude. It's like, I want to perform there because it's right down the road, and I fucking can't get a job.
Yeah.
But it's because I can't keep my mouth, because I consider loose cannon, which goes back to you're saying you're unpredictable. And I think that sticks with club owners sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but with that, what I was getting at, the unpredictable element, I mean, like, I experience myself that way a little bit, where it's not so much like I know what I'm going to do, but what is unpredictable is, there's no consistency looking at the demographic of an audience, or what room I'm in, or the conditions, or anything, or even the mood I'm in, or how well I perform the bit, of like how the audience, that particular individualized audience, is going to take what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's this gap between people seeing a lot of like these instances where I have tanked the energy of a room where the whole first 90% of my set is great, and that last 10% I tank it.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that think I do that like on purpose. It's like some sort of like Machiavellian kind of like,
sure,
wouldn't this just be fucking great if I built this thing up? And like,
I've thought that honestly sometimes.
Yeah. And I think that maybe there's
I think I said the other night, I see a little twitch in your eye or something like that.
And
a fucking switch goes off.
And I think
but when you tell me you didn't do that, I believe you.
Yeah. Well, and I think there might be some truth to that in like my early years of doing it. And I think a lot of my frustration has been like, I'm not this way anymore. How do I get other people to believe me?
Sure.
And so, yeah, I mean, what this all circles back to, like why I made that sentiment, like why I wish we had both clubs, because like I understand why I can't go up so much at the new club, particularly on like a weekend show, unless I'm granted the ability to headline a show that's promoted as dirty. You know, that's maybe the one circumstance where it would make sense. But otherwise, I wish we had both, because the way this is, no matter how much the people running it love me and how much I love them, I can't really go up except for at the open mic. And I wish we had the other ones where I can go up.
Sure.
And I can get better at this, because we don't have a lot of like quality opportunity for me to work on the craft in terms of actually doing it here.
Sure.
That's why the whole thing's a little heartbreaking to me. But I understand, like I empathize with this point of you're trying to run a business and having a performer like me who is the Eminem, you got to just let him do what he's going to do in order for it to be any good, but knowing like we cannot do that in the context of a business in most of the case.
I think a good trying to think. I think a good way to approach it is that if you're headlining, you have a little bit more free reign. If you're opening for a headliner, and here's another fucking crazy thing that I've built the club on that Jeff taught me when I was at Comedy Cabana. He said he would say this shit too. The show is a pyramid. Okay, it's shaped like a pyramid. The base is the pre-show. You're setting a foundation. The next level, we hand it off to the host. The host fluffs the crowd a little bit, gets it to its next layer. You hand it off to the opener, and then you get the energy is constantly going up to a point. And then by the time you give it to the headliner, you have created enough energy that they can go up there and do whatever the fuck they want to do, and the audience is going to love them.
Yes.
But if for some reason in the middle of that pyramid,
something gets fucked up along the way,
somebody you shit on it, a comic just completely fucks it up, it will never become a pyramid at the top. Yeah, the energy will dissolve back into the sand around that pyramid, and then the headliner will have to come and build that entire pyramid by themselves, which is a completely shitty way to ask a performer to do. And if you're a good performer, you can do it quick. Okay, I don't care who the fuck I follow. Like I know within the first couple minutes, you're gonna be in my show. You know what I mean? Not what's been created before me, but now you're gonna be in my world, my travel through the next 50 minutes. Yeah. And but a lot of people just can't get over the fact that the pyramid's busted. So that's kind of the way I try to teach people, like, you know, if and here's my example, not the pyramid. This is more my speed. Say you go to a dinner party, and during appetizers, the person serving the appetizer takes a big shit in the middle of the table. Okay, we still got a couple of courses to go through, but there's a giant fucking turd that I've got to watch the entire time I'm eating my dessert. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of the same thing. It's like, be who you want to be creative. Just don't leave that pile of shit in the middle of the dining room table. And that's kind of like, I'm not saying you do that. I forget to do it too sometimes. I fucking go up there and, you know, I say something that's like, oh my God, why did you say that? You know?
Yeah.
But so I think as a business owner, or I mean, as a comic, you kind of need to know where you are in the hierarchy of the show, and you stay within those boundaries to a point. I mean, you don't want to you don't want to box yourself into where you can't have a good time. Because if you're not having a good time, how am I supposed to? Like, people always tell me, if you don't dig yourself, how am I supposed to dig you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so you got to be having a good time, and if you feel confined, you're not gonna be 100%. I'm the same way when I'm opening for somebody. I've got to figure out how to be me, because you've heard my shit and it goes off the rails sometimes, or I have topics that are like, you know, like, do I do the glory hole joke right before I get off stage and this dude that I don't know is about to come up? I don't know. If I got the audience in my hand, maybe.
Yeah.
Should I do it? Probably not. You know, I'm the same way as you. I don't really I kind of have a plan when I go on stage, but I don't know I don't know from joke to joke what I'm going to say, which is a luxury at this point. I've been doing it that long to where you and I can kind of dance around our set. But it's like the other night, I think Cliff goes, "What's your last joke?" I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know where I'm going to be in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fun for me, but not so much for the headliner.
Yes.
You know? So, but I think you in particular, I think you can get up more than you think you can.
I would agree that I think I have a little
think,
negative energy story in my head about it, feeling like,
and that's
I might
okay.
Just not be putting myself out there or trying to socialize.
And I say I'm Comedy Cabana won't book me, but maybe it's not for that reason. Maybe it's just, I'm not fucking funny enough to be at the Comedy Cabana.
Yeah.
You know,